Hi, and welcome to Books I Read Recently 2, the second part in a YouTube series by Les Miserables one, which I basically talk about the books that I've been reading since the last video. This video would have been up a lot sooner, but I've been ill this past week, so I couldn't do it, and the past couple of days I've been lacking a camera, because it's my dad's. I noticed playing back and editing the last video that I stuttered an awful lot, because I was literally coming up with everything that I was saying off the top of my head. So this time I prepared and wrote myself a script, which is up on my computer, which I'll be reading as I go along over there. So I won't really be looking at the camera like this. I won't be doing this, I'll be looking up here. Some bits will probably stick in my head, so I won't be looking at it all the time, as I'll pretty much know what I want to say, so in case I need it. Okay, so the first book I read was The Aztec Code by Stephen Cole. It's an intriguing book following a character named Jonah Wish and his endeavours to steal ancient Aztec artifacts along with his group of friends, which they give to their boss, a criminal underlord called Coldheart. But it starts out they're raiding a shut-down nuclear plant somewhere in Guatemala to find the legendary Sword of Cortez, but discover that after all their hard work it isn't there. Continues on their quest, track down the artifact, discover the secrets of the various ancient codex and the Aztec goddess of life and death. It's actually a very informative book, although it's just a story. There are a lot of useful facts about the Aztecs and their religion and general way of life. And as I was reading it at pretty much the exact same time we were studying it in history lessons, which helped a lot, I had the opportunity to chip in with completely irrelevant facts that had not yet been discussed and were probably never going to be discussed. This book's basically like a grittier, grungier version of the Cherub series, in the fact that it's a bunch of kids sort of being like secret agents, if you will. They're master computer hackers, stealthy, they've got a good knowledge of the world, and obviously they're both set on different sides of the law. But you can see the similarities, especially seeing as in Divine Madness, which is the fifth Cherub book. There's a religious cult. Well, there's a religious cult in the Aztec Code. Yeah, I know, big deal. There's religious cults in two different books. That automatically makes them the same, but you know, it's really, if you read them, then you'd be able to see what's the same between them, and I really recommend reading both this and the Cherub series. Even though this video's got nothing whatsoever to do with the Cherub books, I'm still recommending them. Overall, I'd give this book an 8.5 because where it's a decent and informative book. There's one particular character called Ramez. Just like Jacob in New Moon, he completely ruined it for me. I don't care for him at all. He's a whiny brat, and although he was a crucial part of the book, I hated him. To be fair though, I really like the book, and if there are any more like it, series or something, I'd totally buy them, as long as Ramez isn't in the next one, if there is one. But to be brutally honest, if you have to choose between this and Cherub, I know I'm bringing it up again, or Alex Rider or something like that, and totally just leave this one in the dirt. Pick it up later when you've run out of other things to buy, because it's nowhere near as good. Second book I read was Snakehead by Anne Hallam, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, which was really intriguing, both the name and the book itself, because the name intrigues me because there's a book called Snakehead, which was written by Anthony Horowitz, and they both have the initials AH. They both wrote books called Snakehead. And another thing is, my initials are AH, but that doesn't really matter much. But the book's intriguing, basically because it's the tale of Perseus and Medusa, stretched out to fill just over 200 pages. And whilst it didn't take that long to read, because I was reading it practically non-stop, it was still stunning. And I love her use of the characters and how she built upon them, how she matured the characters that everyone knows about and made them something new. And the famous myth can literally be told in around 5 minutes, but what the author's done with this is fantastic. She's really taken everything and stretched it out and explored the characters' feelings and how they would react to things emotionally. One thing I found though is that it was very slow going some points. It seemed like it stretched out a little too much. So instead of going like, "Here you, read my book now, I'll knock you out," or like, "Hello there, I've just written the most splendiferous book, and if I may possibly ask your eyes to peruse the pages, you will learn, as thousands of others have, the pleasures that come from reading my book. And it will give you the most imponderable joy to know that you too love my book." It kinda goes, "Well, hi there, I just wrote a book, and it's a really good book. It'd be nice of you to read it, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm not forcing anything on you. I'm just saying that if you read my book, then maybe it would make me happy. Thank you in advance. You don't have to do anything, really." But I do like this book. I think that anyone could give it a chance, especially if they're fans of myths and legends, or if they already know a bit about the tale. I'm going to give this book a 9.2 because it started out slow, but the narrative is truly beautiful and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Next I have 3 books, and they're all manga. I absolutely love anime and manga from my younger kid days of watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, which I still watch to this day, to nowadays where I watch more grown-up stuff. I've always loved everything Japanese, and these books are no exception. Fortunately they're all library books and I'll have to return them soon, which is a shame, because even though they only take around an hour each to read, they are brilliant books, so I need to buy some myself. Here I have Case Closed, volumes 3 and 4, and Naruto volume 1. I previously borrowed the first 2 Case Closed books, along with things like Bleach and Cowboy Bebop, but I really love this series. It's kind of like an ode to the greatest murder mystery writers of all time. And though I personally have read precious few murder mystery books, I'm hoping to change that. It's plain for even me to say that it's riddled with references to other books and authors. Naruto is about a young boy who's once the bane of his town, but was sealed by a master ninja and turned into the prank-loving ninja wannabe that he is today. Both brilliant series, which I hope to read more of someday, and hope to actually own someday. I'm not going to rate these because seriously, you can't rate manga. It's just awesome. So there you go. And finally, I have... oh god, camera fell over. Finally, I have Shadow Forest by Matt Haig. An exciting adventure which, although was obviously intended for slightly younger audiences and only took a few hours to read. Thought the camera was going again. It was. I really enjoyed it and loved the author's writing style. I mean, like, here's the blurb. "Samuel Blink is the hero of this story, but he doesn't know it yet. Right now, he and his sister Martha are in the back of his parents' car. He has no idea a giant log is about to fall from the sky and change his life forever. He doesn't know that he and Martha will be forced to move to Norway and eat their Aunt Ida's smelly brown cheese. He hasn't the slightest clue Martha will disappear into Shadow Forest. Forest full of one-eyed trolls, the sinister Huldra folk, deadly truth pixies, and a witch who steals shadows. Forest ruled by the evil Changemaker. Forest so dangerous that people who enter never return. No, Samuel Blink doesn't know any of this, so don't tell him. Might ruin the book." It literally says that. And it's basically, as I just said, about how Samuel's parents die, so he has to go and live with his comical Norwegian auntie and eat smelly brown cheese, and eventually his sister, who is morbidly depressed by the death of parents, has not spoken since that fateful moment, and just wanders into the forest. There's not much in the way of character building or anything like that, although his sister does go through certain experiences which alter the way her character is. It's obviously intended for around 9+-ish people, so it's not going to be as deep and philosophical as, say, Philip Pullman's His Dark Material trilogy or Victor Hugo's Les Miserables, but there's enough in it to hold your interest if you're slightly older. Overall, I think I'm going to give this book an 8 out of 10, because there's not that much to it, and it's rather simple, although obviously this is my opinion, which